Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab. Before I do my nightly stroll, I'm gonna give you a little show before I go. So I got a nice little lesson for you. So I got my teacher's hat on. We're back in the book, meditating how to work that mind. I got a good one lesson for you. Meditation in life and how to develop a meditative lifestyle. So it'll be good. I'm getting this in because I went to have my crabs tonight. And I'm getting an allergic reaction. I can feel it already. I'm going to get a fat lip in the morning. So I took my Benadryl. So I'm going to get one in before it take effect. All right, so let's get to the lesson on. I got to go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life I give. Life lessons. You tune into receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers' way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. I can feel it coming. I'm getting the fat lip already, but I'm gonna do what I gotta do for you, and I'm gonna take it down. So I appreciate. I give life lessons. You trying to receive them. We got a good thing going. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not, feel the fat lip coming, and believe and think that they do is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them from the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to Maya be true. Today we're gonna learn about the meditation. I'm gonna give you a quick lesson about the dot and the circle. This is considered the mystical circle. I'm gonna read that to you, break it down, then we're gonna go into meditation, how to develop meditative lifestyle. This is my teacher right here. This is him showing you the meditation pose and the mystical dot in the circle. You become the dot. Okay? That's you, the self. Let's talk about it. All right. First, let's talk about the sides of. Remember Tahuti? I tell you about Tahuti. This is him right here in his different forms. He's the ibis-headed bird with all the regalia. He's the ibis-headed bird as the moon god, and then he's also the baboon. Okay, and all these he's also the baboon down here. But you always see him scribing, writing something down, keeping record. He's the recorder. Let me tell you who he is right quick. All right, the forms of Tahuti. The ancient Egyptian god Tahuti appears in the form of a baboon and even in the form of an ibis-headed bird. He is, listen, he is the transmitter of divine wisdom. He is known as the mind of God, aka Ra. And all of us, that's what he represents. He's God's messenger. In Greeks, they call him Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great. That means in every level, in every realm of life, he's good at that. The physical, the tie, and the pet. Okay, that means earth, heaven, and the dua. That's what you're going to go through in life. The death part is to get us to the next life without the body, the astral plane, they call it. All right, let's talk about the mystical circle. I just showed you. We call it, at Masons, we call it the dot and the circle. The way to make a circle, you need a compass. The compass in the square in Masonic order, the compass represents spirituality. The all, no beginning, no end. The dot is you. That's all encompassing you in God's creation. When the square, the square represents physical matter, right angles, everything that's going into physical form. That's why you got spirit over matter. Masons, you become a full-fledged Mason. That's why you get the triangle, the perfect man. When you get the philosophy, understand the esoteric meaning, you'll understand. But right here, let's talk about meditation, okay? And how to develop what they call a meditative state of mind. I've been giving you mind lessons all month. We at the end of the book. I'm still giving you mind exercises, things to help you control your mind. Let's talk about meditation in life. and how to develop a meditative lifestyle. That's what I do. Meditation is not just an exercise that is practiced only at a certain time or at a certain place. That's formal meditation. Set aside time to go to your spot and do what you do. My mother, she used the big chair in her living room. In order for your meditative efforts to be successful for you, the philosophy of meditation must become an integral part of your daily life. You got to weave it in how you live. You got to make it a part of your life lesson. To practice it, to master it, perfect it, have to be practiced daily. And what that means? This means that the meditative way of life, right thinkers, that's where we live, the right thinking philosophy, the yoga lifestyle must become the focus of your life no matter what else is going around you in your life. When whatever chaos is going on in your life, stay focused and do what you do. You have no idea what I go through off the air. It's none of your business, but yeah, I have a life to live also, just like everybody else. Ain't no different, okay? But I still practice what I teach in my daily life. That's the difference. And most people who do not and will not practice right thinking philosophy or yoga, they are not able to control the clamoring thoughts in their mind. Why? They haven't learned how to think right. Their mind's on its own accord, and they can't control it. And because of this, that that problem right there, do not you ignorant people will not experience what we call inner peace or clarity of purpose in your daily life. You're constantly bombarded with a bunch of stuff that you don't control. Half of it don't pertain to you anyway, but you beat yourself up worrying about something that never happened. You go back into history. We got a vivid imagination and a perfect memory. So we can remember the past and we beat ourselves up about something that happened 10 years ago. That's crazy. That's a mental sickness. Some people live in the past. Moving on. We know the people who no matter what conversation you have with them, it's always, y'all done talked about this a zillion times. Again, we talk about this. My man, you got to get off that block. Change streets. Come on, catch up. Others who are beset by intensely negative thoughts. Some people just look to do bad things. Let me ask you a question. What would make you rob a bank? I know bank robbers. And know what he said why he robbed the bank? To feed his kids. Dude, I got a grocery list of things I can do to support my kids before bank robbery comes up. See where I'm going with this? That's negative thinking. That's never going to be positive. It's never going to end well for you. Okay? But when you give into your negative thoughts, you're going to do things that you know is wrong. I did it, so John, I know it was wrong, but I put it in my mind that I'm doing a service. I got to do it. All that nonsense to justify what a wrong act. The mind will do that, okay? It good at what justify what nonsense. So they miss having peace of mind, and that will have them. They will succumb to negative thoughts, and now they will actually commit acts that goes against their consciousness. And the consciousness is spelled Conscience. That's not this conscious. That's this conscious. So when the heart is not adhered to, you're going to do things going against the heart, and you're going to suffer the consequences for that. That's the difference in doing what the heart says, following the heart and getting in the right direction, than following your own. Lean out on own understanding. That's what they mean by that. Let your conscience be the guide. It knows. You don't. This consciousness got to be fed, got to be taught, got to be enlightened. It don't know much, but it can learn. That's the difference. And when you go against your heart, you're going to suffer what? The consequences of what? It's called self-defeating. When you cause it to yourself, you can't blame nobody else. So you defeat it what? By yourself. That's self-defeating. And in the game of the hustle, when you get caught cheating, you got to pay the dues. Sometimes it can cost you your life. If you get caught cheating, they will kill you. That's the game in the streets. That's the way of life. But it's also in real life, it's self-defeating. When you put yourself in bad situations and it's self-defeating, what is what they call a self-defeating way of life. And a lot of us live that every day. Self-defeating every day, defeating our own self every day, and thinking it's going to change or get better. Insanity. Okay. But wherein You're always going to have what? Painful situations and disappointments in the mental energy. Why? Okay, I missed the whole point. I meant something there right there. You're going to go through painful situations, disappointments in life, and are increased while what? Your negative aspects is increased, the bad parts, the happiness and the contentment are what? Decrease. Why? Your possibility of reaching there is getting slim and none, and Slim just walked out the door. That's the concept. The mind, which is yours, which need to be mastered by you. You the only one that's gonna be in control. This is the most sophisticated piece of machinery known to man. And the idea, it don't come with instructions, but we got instructors. Hence sages, gurus, and mystics, pastors, all of our saints. But the mind is now weakened due to what its own mental energy that's being wasted in what? Useless endeavors that don't amount to nothing, which only serve to further what? Entangle them in what? Complex situations, relationships, and probably commitments that you may thinking is going to be something. Those are all bad decisions. And you're going to suffer consequences of those bad decisions about how have to live through it. It ain't just gonna go away. No, you got to work through that and live through that. Just like the good, you have to enjoy it. I'm basking in life right now. It's good. They say life is like a penis. When it's hard, you getting. When it's soft, you can't even beat it. Right now, I'm like Michael Jackson. I can't beat it. Why? I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. This the, my pastor said, this is the fruits of your labor. When you put good work in, sooner or later, that work got to be rewarded. God bless him. All right. But y'all who don't understand would never receive a blessing because you're doing all the wrong things to yourself. And another source that weakens one's will is to act, watch this, correctly to promote situations and advancement and happiness is caused by what? Subsequently, the excuse me, susceptibly to negative emotions once you fight off the ego, once you get rid of all the negative thoughts, because now you're thinking right, negative emotions such as anger, hatred, greed, gloom, sorrow, depression, as well as an excessive past positive emotion. Now, that's the negative side. This is the positive side. Elation, and it all serves to what? Create a mental agitation and desires, which in turn could be intellectually capacity to make current or correct decisions in your daily life. You got to get proficient at making snap decisions constantly. Why? That's life. And it goes just like that, constantly. It ain't gonna stop. But when you're thinking right, you just doing what you need to do, going with the flow, so to speak. Makes it a lot easier. But when life seems to become, for a lot of people, this is the bugaboo. For a lot of people, when life seems what they consider unbearable, overwhelming, whatever you want to use to say, man, it's kicking my ass. Okay, I'm getting my ass kicked by life. You're the one who doing the kicking in your own ass. Think about that. That's what I'm trying to point out to you. When things ain't going well because of what you're doing, you might want to check or change what it is you're doing to make things not go right. Oh, starts with right thinking. And watch this, due to the intensification of your own negative egoistic emotions and desires and the obscuring of one's intellectual capacity. You can't think right with an agitated mind. You can't function on all cylinders when you got issues of mental concepts that don't really work for you. Some people will even commit suicide. That's way past the norm, but some people subject themselves to that. They don't see no other way out. That ain't never the answer. Never the answer. No. Okay. So when they commit suicide, and they only do it out of what? An attempt that they think they're escaping the mental anguish or the ending of what? Painful onslaught that they cause themselves and become uncontrollable thoughts that lead them to what? Take their own life. That is not right thinking. Still, you got others who prefer to what? Just ignore the messages from what? From the deeper self, the heart. That's the concept of the angel and the devil on your shoulder. They're trying to tell you. The heart is trying to tell you to do this. The mind is saying, I want to do that. there's conflict. They're not in harmony. When the heart and mind is on the same team, you got harmony, you got balance, and you got better decision making capabilities. Why? You're using both sides of the brain, pros and cons. Remember that as a kid? What's the good in it? Okay. What's the bad in it? Pros good, cons bad. When you can see those, you should be able to make a better decision. The phrase, if you knew better, you do better. That's what they're saying. If you know your choices, you know your options, you, with wherewithal, should be able to make the better choice for yourself. And after a few times of making bad ones, you should be able to figure that out and get it right. And then once you start making good choices, you'll start receiving the benefits. And now it'll make you want to continue to do it. I know that. When something's good, you keep doing it. If something ain't working, you stop that. Why? It ain't working. It didn't work yesterday. It ain't gonna work today. And guess what? You plan on doing it tomorrow. It ain't gonna work then either. Conceptually. But in life, where you at? Still others will what? Ignore the messages of the inner self, that heart. I did that 40 some years ago, cost me dearly. But when you ignore the inner deeper self, which are beckoning you to move toward introspection. Check yourself. Check yourself before what? You wreck yourself because you're going to have situations that's going to bring you what? Stress, dissatisfaction, uncomfortability in life. And these are all motivators who what? Whose purpose, sole purpose is to turn you away from the outer world because now you have somewhat lost your balance. When you become more human than spiritual, then you are on the wrong side. Why? Because human is temporary, spiritual is forever. Stay spiritual. There is a place for what? Material wealth. That's it, right here. If you are materially wealthy, you love this. Why? You got everything you want. But having this can't get you to the next level. That's the difference. And only people find out at what? In the end of judgment day, that they money, all the stuff they can't take with them, and it won't get them to the next life. They got to come back and do it all over again. So, having material wealth and sensual, when you have material wealth, you can have all your sensual experiences, you have all the outer experiences and pleasures of the flesh that you can pay for. And they got women who do just that. You pay them, they'll pleasure you. If that's your whole goal in life, knock yourself out. That's like the drug. Having those women paying for them. Once it's over, you had a little satisfaction. What you got now? No money. And you're still back where you started from. That's not a good deal. It's not smart. Moving on. And watch this. However, when your inner reality is ignored, when the heart ain't adhered to, or when your inner needs and your inner development is now impaired due to your own personal excess of concentration on what? Worldly things and not the individual's goals, and you worry about your physical desires. Now you set yourself up for experience of what? Frustration, disappointment, guaranteed. Joy and pain. They tell you it's two sides of the same concept. Where there's joy, there have to be pain. Why? It can't resist. It can't exist by itself. So two opposites. That's what Maya represents. It's two opposites different, but to make a whole. You got joy, and when that joy turns into what? Pain. Love turns into hate. Okay. If these situations that you cause in yourself, if you were to understand them, understood what as these are messages from what the nature to pull you back to find your inner peace, trying to reel you in, so to speak. You got help. You got inner help. They just don't listen to it. I got one brother say, God never talked to him. Dude, you bad off. Okay. If God ain't got you ain't did nothing to get God's attention, something you doing wrong. That's all. I ain't gotta argue about that. But then you got personalities, the integration, then personality integration and the messages, and harmony can now be discovered. You keep fighting, ain't gonna happen. When you realize certain things and let it go, that's how you discover. However, if these times are faced with lack of inner strength, knowledge of self, no willpower, then what happens? They would lead to suffering. Sometimes there are moments of clarity where life seems to be good, wherein your higher self is perceived in a what? An intuitive flash. It just happened. You didn't make it happen. It just happened. It's getting there. I see it's coming. I feel it. But that flash, like, what was that? You don't know, but it was good. You just know it was good. You don't know how you did it, where it come from. But those people would usually tend to discard that feeling and that occurrence as what? A coincidence, just a glitch in the matrix, whatever they want to call it, or other curious events, while others in bewilderment when it happens to them, they believe what? That they're going crazy, they're going mad. When I got my spiritual awakening, I knew something was going on. And I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't enlightened, so I didn't know at that time, and it was different. But you got others. What they got over here? Some think they're going mad. Then you got others who ignore the issue of spirituality altogether. Ain't nothing to that. When you die, you die. The spirit, everything dies. Don't even waste your time with them kind of people. They're going to die for sure. Don't even worry about them. All right. But altogether and simple, you shun any thoughts about what? Death or the afterlife. I got the ignorant brother who don't just that. That's what he think. Death is the end. Well, man, thought the same thing when he died. Kicked and screamed, went out like a not like a real man. Okay, kicking and screaming. If you don't want to live no more, why you kick and scream by dying? That didn't make sense to me. Okay, so that mindset don't really work. But this is what they call reverse yoga. Okay, demeaning yourself, meaning the movement that stunts your spiritual evolution but keeps you down. Okay, that's low self-esteem, and that is rooted. You know what? Here, right there, it's rooted. Cause is fear. False evidence appearing real. You create this big fear that holds you back. And fear of the unknown is dumb. Why would you fear something that's unknown? And there's a fear of now letting go. The practice of yogic right thinking philosophy and meditation daily techniques is there to serve you to what? Concentrate, teach you any and all how to concentrate on any and all negative developments in one's mind. And if the correct technique is used, now the correct understanding is adopted. If you're not thinking right, you're not going to function right. So you need to get the mind right and follow the right instructions that'll take care of that problem for you. Wrap it up. Ooh, yeah, I got one more paragraph. I see right here. I stopped down here, so I'm gonna get this in. There are four main components into meditation. These are positioning, comfortable upright position. Some people get in a little position. I'm not doing that, so I prefer to sit upright. And the breathing technique is also important. When you get your rhythmic breathing going, when you slow it down, you get the good inhalation, hold it for a few seconds, and ease it out. When it becomes rhythmic and it's a natural flow, now the mind is pretty much starting to free itself because of the breath force that's going through and controlling the sound and visualization. Some people like to have music, some people like to have something going on in the background. I prefer quiet, okay? But in the beginning, the stages of this daily practice, these components may be somewhat difficult to what? To perform because it's new with some kind of consistency, but in the coordination of how to get it done. But with time and continued effort, you now will become pliable, it will become pleasurable experience, which will bring you closer to your awareness of your higher self. I come out of meditation just feeling good. When you go to sleep, that deep sleep go there, you wake up feeling so refreshed, but you can't remember. I come out of meditation, I can remember what and how I got there, so I can repeat that same thing every day. Been doing it for over 10 years. But it is difficult to learn how to control one's mind in the beginning, and that's how it's supposed to be. Ain't nothing easy when you start now. Okay, understand this process. Many aspirants lose heart because what? They have not obtained the results that they had anticipated. If you're looking for instant results, this ain't the thing for you. It's a process that you got to put work in to see the results. It ain't just going to happen. That's the difference. So they're either quite prominently or a jump to what? Different techniques where they figure that didn't work. I'm going to try this. I give you that, digging the whole concept. Keep digging 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, dig 5 feet. 1 hole. See how that working for you. You got a bunch of 2 feet hole. Why 2 feet ain't deep enough? Okay? Learn to go deeper. That's what they're trying to get the concept. But what happened? The same results that they anticipated. They thought they were going to be all of a sudden enlightened because they meditated a couple of days. They did a few chants, and all of a sudden they enlightened. It don't work that way. And they either quit patrolling and jump around, try something else, without giving, like I said, the sufficient time for the exercise to do what it does. It's a process. Okay? No matter what you think or feel, it don't change the process. And they do not understand, obviously, that although on occasions profound changes will occur in you, and that don't mean you reach the level. Still keep putting the work in. Why? Because you're getting a glimpse. That's the teaser. Okay. When I was on the drug to get you, here, take that, take that. You gonna like it. You gonna want more. Now you gotta come back with money. Oldest trick in the book. It's easy, simple, and you're dealing with those kind of people. All right. A person with lesser intellect than you can always outthink them, and outmaneuver them, and outmanipulate them, and get them to do whatever you need them to do. Sound like the government. Moving on. But the change, a profound change will occur certain every now and then in a short period of time. But for the most part, it's like I say, it's a gradual process that you don't change. You just go through the process, and that's how you benefit. That's the lesson for right now. I'll be back with more meditative lifestyle, but right now I got to go. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus that day. So I never know my right thinkers who practicing how to develop their meditative lifestyle have passed away. Remember, we know that self, we don't die.